Have you ever heard of the Crimean War? For a conflict that was the largest European war between Napoleon and World War I, it's surprisingly overlooked in most history books. This war, one of the deadliest in late European history, had huge ripple effects, from improving military tech and medicine to even contributing to the eventual end of the Ottoman Empire. So today, I want to dive into the story of how this massive conflict even started. Later on, we'll explore its incredible impact in a separate video essay. So, who was fighting who? On one side, you had Russia. On the other, a coalition of the Ottoman Empire, France, the United Kingdom, and the Kingdom of Sardinia-Piedmont. Now, the common story is that this all kicked off because of a religious squabble over Christian holy sites in Ottoman-controlled Palestine. But many historians believe this was just a convenient excuse for Russia to flex its muscles in the Balkans, and maybe even grab the legendary city of Constantinople. At the time, Russia held protection rights over the Orthodox Christian shrines in Ottoman lands. But then the new French president, Napoleon III, declared himself the protector of the Catholic faith and wanted to shift the balance. Why? Well, Napoleon III was eager to build prestige for his newly declared Second French Empire and get on the good side of the Catholic Church. To show he meant business, he sent warships to the Black Sea, right on Russia's doorstep. This move threatened the Orthodox rights, and Russia's Tsar Nicholas I wasn't having it. In May of 1853, he sent an ultimatum to the Ottomans, demanding that all Orthodox subjects under their rule be placed directly under his protection. Britain, seeing the rising tension, tried to play mediator but couldn't find a compromise. When the Ottomans rejected Russia's ultimatum, Nicholas invaded the Orthodox regions of Moldavia and Romania in July 1853. At first, there was a strange quiet. The Ottomans and French weren't sure what to do next. It's crucial to understand that Russia made this bold move expecting support from Austria, Britain, and other major European powers. They were wrong. The Ottoman Empire was known as the sick man of Europe. Its economy was a mess, and internal instability was rampant. Russia figured that Britain and Austria would jump at the chance to carve up the weakening Turkish state for themselves. But Britain had other ideas. They were focused on maintaining the balance of power in Europe, a principle established at the Congress of Vienna back in 1815. They calculated that a Russian monopoly in the Black Sea would be far more damaging to British interests than any potential land grab from the Ottomans. So, Britain sided with France, while many other nations chose to stay neutral. The British and French knew Russia's ultimate goal, Constantinople. The Russians saw themselves as the successors to the Byzantine Empire and yearned to control the birthplace of Orthodox Christianity. Back to the action. The Turks, initially hesitant, declared war on Russia in October 1853, just 3 months after the invasion. The Turkish army crossed the Danube River, met the Russians head-on at the Battle of Oltenitsa, and actually defeated them. However, Russia soon got its revenge. In a devastating naval battle at Sinop, the Russian fleet annihilated a Turkish one. This battle was significant because it was the first major use of shell guns, highly effective explosive naval cannons that changed naval warfare forever. After this crushing defeat, the British and French fleets scrambled to blockade the Russians in the Black Sea, arriving in early January 1854. By late March, after heavy pressure from the Ottomans, Britain and France officially declared war on Russia. That same month, the Russians crossed the Danube again, this time invading Turkish Bulgaria. This prompted a protest from Austria, which then forced Russia to withdraw in August 1854. This was a huge diplomatic blow for Russia. Austria had been its main, and really only, ally. By losing them, Austria was left politically isolated for decades. Now, before we get to the famous campaign in Crimea itself, it's important to know this war wasn't just fought on that small peninsula. There were battles in the Black Sea, the Baltic Sea, the Caucasus, and the Balkans. But for this video, we're focusing on the Balkans and Crimea. With Russia pushed back, it was time for Britain and France to make their move. They decided that landing in Crimea was the perfect strategy. From there, they could threaten Russia's vital Black Sea trade, destroy its fleet, and lay siege to major Russian cities, all while maintaining their supply lines through the nearby Ottoman territories. But here's something you need to know about the Crimean War. The leadership on both sides was, to put it mildly, abysmal. This was painfully obvious right from the start of the Allied campaign. The Allied forces set sail under the British commander Lord Raglan and the French Marshal Armand de Saint-Arnaud, who was seriously ill. These leaders didn't even have a clear plan on where to land. They eventually chose an open beach, not a port, about 30 miles north of the key city of Sevastopol. The landing took a grueling 5 days. This exposed a massive failure on the part of the Russian commander, Prince Alexander Menshikov. He had a golden opportunity to attack and potentially wipe out the Allied forces while they were vulnerable on the beach. But he did nothing. Only after the Allies were fully landed and equipped did Menshikov finally try to stop them at the Battle of the Alma River in mid-September 1854. His attempt to hold the Russian line was a disaster. It cost him over 5,700 of his 36,000 men, while the Allies lost only about 3,000 of their 52,000 troops. After receiving word that Russian reinforcements were on the way, Menshikov pulled his forces back to fortify Sevastopol. The Allies gave chase, finally reaching the outskirts of the city by late September. The stage was now set. The French and British were ready, or at least they thought they were, to begin the epic siege of Sevastopol. To see how their campaign unfolded and the brutal fighting that followed, make sure you watch part 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.